Here we are again, one last time, one last round for this season of the S7R Toyota GR Cup. I am your host, E-Dirty Tati. Tati, also joined by Hovercraft. What's up, Hover?
Yo, what's good? Good evening, everybody. I hope you're having a good night so far. Hopefully tonight will make it even a little bit better with tonight's race. Isn't that right, Toddy?
That's right. I hope everyone is doing all right. I hope if you are in the U.S. or celebrate wherever you are, that you had a great Thanksgiving. Welcome again to the final round, and it's close in the Pro Championship here. To boot, we have two races tonight at Fuji. There's rain, just so y'all know, but I don't know. I love this track. What do you think about Fuji? Fave? Not
I
fave?
think I honestly enjoy it quite a lot. I like it a little bit more than Fuji. I'm always kind of been an advocate. I wish the F1 schedule made it so one year they went to Suzuka, the other year they went to Fuji. But overall, I think it's a pretty good track.
I agree. I definitely wish we could see F1 at Fuji. I used to not love this track. I find that last sector really hard, but I've gotten better at it in the years, and now I really enjoy how technical it is. I do wish we saw more racing here. It's got a fascinating history as well, but we can get into that during the race if we will. So the standings are interesting here. I'm really just going to read out what matters. The top three, Wid will not be joining us tonight. So even with the drop rounds, with him not joining tonight, he can't win this thing. So that's too bad. He's out of the championship after making it so close for so long. But Shred and Super S2K are only 25 points away from each other. And we've done the math. And if Shred scores 37 points across both races tonight, then he automatically wins the championship. There's nothing Super S2K can do. Basically, for Shred to lose this, he'd have to really mess up both races massively, and Super S2K would have to win both. That's where we are with the championship here in the pro standings. Of course, everyone else is still fighting for, second, third. I think that's still pretty close, isn't it? You want to read the team standings for us? Cover?
Of course. Leading the championship, NVR Red Line with 1,696 points on top of everybody. S7R's Ando's Arsenal is coming in second. The next closest with 1,625 points. The second S7R team with 1,523. In fourth, NVR Geneva with 1,497 points, followed by FFR Orange, the third S7R team, which gained one position from the last round, with 1,266 points, or my bad, 1,266 points. Chikang Bang in seventh, and FFR Black rounding out the table with 937 points.
We didn't do the math on that, but I didn't realize it was so close between the top two teams there as well. I don't know if it's enough for an upset, but that would have been interesting to check out. Let's talk about the rules for our first race tonight, the sprint race. Will be taking place at Fuji. The full layout, so the full Grand Prix layout of this track will be in the driver-selected GR3 cars. That's the touring cars, or rather Grand Touring cars. Qualifying will be 13 minutes, and the race is only 7 laps, but it is a long lap around here. The grid will be set by that qualifying, and it will be a grid start with a false check. Balance of performance is on. However, drivers are allowed to affect their brake balance and aero, which really matters around here, both of them. It is a rain race, so there's no tire requirement. We expect everyone to either be on inters or wets, but maybe we'll see the track dry up enough for some slick tires here. I think that's all that really matters around here. Why don't we thank our sponsor, Trails End. They've been with us since the very first round of the season. We hope to see him again in season 2. Do check them out. If you have any needs for construction help, especially around the house, they can hook it up for you. Go check them out for help around that. This race will be available on demand by, I believe, Monday evening, tomorrow, on the Sector 7 Racing YouTube channel. All right, Hover. Last GR3 race, it's the last anything race, I guess, around here. Fuji's pretty well known by most drivers, I think, of this caliber, but it is a rain race. So, that rain is always the great equalizer, I think. Not everyone's great around here in the rain. Have you got any experience?
This track has very much a player favorite amongst the entire GT7 community, and you're absolutely right. Rain does make a difference here. I think it was one of the first tracks to get rain in this game, or it might have actually gotten rain back during Gran Turismo Sport. As I say that, we are starting qualifying, but yeah, tonight we may not see much rain in the Group 3 race. That's what I was talking about with the drivers beforehand, but you never know. Maybe midway or towards the end of the sprint race, we'll see it really pick up.
Yeah, well, it's clearly raining right now during qualifying. It's actually actively falling, which you can see all that rain pitter pattering on the window there. I don't know that the track is wet enough for the intermediate tire just yet. It's only a 13-minute qualifying, so I don't expect it. I guess we're not expecting it to stay wet long enough to need to switch over. Most drivers are out here on the soft tire. That means they're expecting to get at least one lap where the slick tire will still work for them, even if they do have to switch off. They're going to want to get these tires here warm and going on the very first out lap for sure.
Absolutely. I will note, though, even though the rain is actually below the first bar, which would indicate that the dry tire, specifically the racing softs, is the faster tire, you will maybe see one or two spins caused by the rain, because often enough, even though it's still technically good for the dry tires, specifically the curbs, if you're steering too much while you're getting onto one, or you get back on the throttle a bit too aggressively, and thinking that you could take the corner as is, you may get caught out because of the rain. It's these very minute and minor changes in the track that these drivers have to be wary of, right? They can think of it as a dry race, but they still have to be cautious.
That's true. And you see Ryder there warming up his tires before approaching the final corner. Probably a good idea there. To your point, you're right. They still have to be careful on the curbs or even on the throttle for sure. The first half of the field here, very close together, or not the first half, but the first few drivers were very close together, not carrying that. Hey, like dirty air is a thing around this track and makes some of these sectors really difficult. For them, it was more important to get out on track, get that outlap in, and of course, getting slipstream on this long straight definitely helps. This is what 1.1 miles, I believe, is the length of the straight around here. Something
I
crazy like
think
that.
so.
Something crazy like that. Fun fact: do you know why that straight is so long?
Because it was originally meant to be for NASCAR.
It was. This was going to be a super speedway, an oval track. In fact, turn one used to be a banked corner. Like you can still. I've not been, unfortunately, not been able to go to Fuji just yet when I visit Japan. I'm hoping the next time, but it's the banked turn is still there. I think that's where like the museum is for the track, but you can still see the banking. If you watch, like if you look it up on YouTube, you can find old races from when that turn was still banked, and then like there's a whole different sequence of corners before you get to like Coca-Cola. It's really awesome.
I'm actually planning on going there next year, so if I do get the chance to visit Fuji, I will most certainly do that.
Nice. Hope you get to get up on that banking. I want to see that. I also obviously want to see the oval track at Monza as well. That hasn't been used in forever, but I think you can still walk up on those bankings. Maybe. Did I just see a disconnect? Oh no, just people setting times. The truth goes first so far up, and the media Super S2K goes ahead of him with a 137.8. The truth will slot in behind him with a 139.6. That's definitely going to get beat by a few more drivers back here. It's a little while off. Super S2K into the pits after setting that time. That's interesting. I guess he's going to try to come out at a different point in the track. Ryder goes second with a 138.7. So he's almost a second behind Super S2K. There's definitely some more time in these tires and on this track here for these drivers. I'm surprised that Super S2K is in the pit. I mean, it's a longish lap, but I don't know if one out lap is enough to say that your tires were warm for that first hot lap around here, especially with it actively wet. I wonder what the what the strat is here. Behind Ryder and the Truth, you got Rusty Maggots with a 139.7. A lot of these drivers have a lot to improve, and I think we will see improvements on this next lap. The Stig with a 140 flat. Yeah, these drivers aren't very close to one another in terms of time. Except maybe, Rusty and Stig aren't too far from each other. Higher place, hot air, all in the 140s. Corridor, the 141.2 thus far. Jeffrey has not set a time yet, and Shred has not set a time yet, but they're both on outlaps right now. I'm sorry, Shred's on a fast lap. Jeffrey's on a fast lap. Good to see him back, by the way. And Shred is on an outlap right now. And he's very out. That lap, I don't know what that was. I think he disappeared. Yeah, he went back into the pits. He's going to try again. He's got some time. It's a long quali, 13 minutes. But yeah, hey Corridor, good luck to you, and good luck to you as well, Mr. Racing. Are you in this race with us, Mr. Racing? No, you're not. You're not.
Yeah, well, I was just looking at it overall. Super S2K is now going onto the track once again. Shred was already going out on his outlap, or second outlap it might have been, but these two drivers are currently the ones really competing for this title, right? Shred has the significant advantage in needing only to score, 37 points or more to automatically win it?
That's right.
I think it really just comes down to, especially in quality, right? These two drivers really want a clear track just so they get the best chance at, qualifying better than the others. So even though that straight is 1.1 miles long and slipstream can definitely help them, they ultimately know that no one really is capable of reaching the pace that these two can do. So I think they really are just more prioritizing having a clear track, having a calm mind just to get the fastest lap they really can put down.
Yeah, I can see that. You really only need the one lap, only the one, and I don't know. For me, I'm kind of a nervous Nelly. I want to get as many laps in as possible, but these are really confident drivers here. I've got the camera on Super S2K because this concerns me. These two end up battling a good bit during races at times, and Super S2K is incredibly laggy right now. I mean, it's bad enough that the game can't even tell us what direction the car actually is in some of these spikes. That could be an issue. I think everyone else is looking pretty smooth, though, on track. It's just Super S2K.
Yeah, overall, I would say the same. It's only Super S2K, but when I ride on board with him, it doesn't look too bad. Let's just hope that it doesn't really affect anything during the race.
I hope not. Like I said, if we see some close battling between Shred and Super S2K, it may play a part, and that may make it unfun for the two drivers. Definitely not fun for the stewards. But yeah. Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to take a quick note between the two car differences, or, the two cars and their differences between Super S2K's Merc going around the bend right now, and Shred going down to the third sector in his Aston Martin. I would say overall, especially with how you can tune the aero, I think the Merc has a little bit better rear stability, so he can really take some of these corners a lot more confidently, most noticeably since because there's rain and affecting some of these curbs. He can really just focus on just trying to get the car turned in and not worry so much on getting the power down. But also, Shred does have the accent, and he has so much more acceleration, especially in the lower gears, which is really going to matter a lot trying to go out onto the main straight. If he's ahead, that acceleration itself in the first, second, third, and fourth gear may just be enough to cover him off from an attack with the slipstream.
That's right. I was gonna say definitely the long legs of that Aston are helpful. He just finished his first hot lap, and he comes into third with a 138.622 there. So almost a second behind Super S2K still. I think he had the 137. Yeah, 137.8 was his absolute fastest lap so far. Shred, not quite there, but doesn't matter. It just puts you on the grid where you need to be. I'm sure he'd like not to have Ryder between himself and Super S2K though. Is Ryder, aka Yagami, is a hard fighter, and it's not easy to get around him. And if Shred gets caught up fighting with Yagami, who's also in that Mercedes, by the way, then it does give Super S2K a chance to run away with it. Of course, Shred, you know, doesn't have to fight. He doesn't have to go hard in any of these races. He's just got to bring it home. But I don't know. That's just not the Shred that we know. It's just not. So we'll see. We'll see how he plays it if he does end up in third place behind Yagami. If he'll decide to chase and try to chase Super S2K down, or if we'll take it easy and not fight Yagami too hard. Maybe let Yagami have his day if he wants second place, or just wait patiently until the opportunity comes for him to take it.
Yeah, ultimately with these two sprint races, he has such the advantage with a 25-point lead as of right now. He doesn't really need the second place from Ryder necessarily, right?
No.
Unless he gets a really poor result in the endurance or in the feature round. As I say that, he finishes in third of his best qualifying result. He doesn't really need to push. He doesn't really need that second place. So as much as, yeah, he would most certainly like to take first or second, take away points away from Super S2K, he's not in a dire need. And this is much more of a chess match right now in terms of how much points he can afford to bleed.
Yeah, I think he's in a good place. He's in a very good place. He's worked hard all season long to get here. Lots of tough battles with Wid and Ryder, especially in the beginning of the season, between the three of them. And then Ryder kind of started falling off, and it was Shred and Wid, but Super S2K showed up in the championship, and he was right there, winning races and taking points out of both Shred and Wid. But Shred has continued to fight. We've seen him fall back like early on in a race to like seventh, eighth place, even lower, and crawl his way back up to the podium, even for a win. I mean, if anyone deserves a championship this go round, it's definitely him. He'd be a deserving first champion.
Absolutely. As I say that, do you want me to read down the qualifying results?
Yes, please, if you could.
Of course, in first place or getting pole position, we will see Super S2K take the lead of the grid with a 37.8. Ryder in second place, being his front row mate, is going to be with a 38 flat. Shred in third, getting a 38.6. Jeffrey in fourth. Truth, then Rusty, both S7R teammates, but not on the same squad, if I remember correctly, getting low 39. Stig in seventh, and then followed behind with Ayer with a 39.6. Then we go over to ninth with Corridor in the GTR with a 39.7, and then higher place rounding out the grid with his Beetle with a 39.7.
All right, awesome. Thank you, McNaughty, for getting that button there. It's not working for me for some reason. I was slightly panicked. All right, guys. Well, I guess now we just wait for the track to be reset a couple of times for the race to start. It is, I mean, this is it. It's all to play here. Jeffrey is on. Jeffrey's been a contender before. I don't think that Ferrari's known for like, it's pace or high speed, but it's got a hell of a launch on it, and he's just in the second row. So I think Jeffrey will be part of the conversation into turn one. You can't or win a race in turn one, but you can certainly lose it. And we just love the drama. This is turn one's a hairpin around here, which is insane to think about. But here we are. For
We
some
are
reason,
starting
this was
now.
deemed safer than the bank turn, and so they got rid of the bank turn. They were like, let's just make them turn completely around, almost 180. It feels safer.
Absolutely. We're starting here very quickly now. All the engines revving up.
That's right, but not too high, because you're just gonna spin them, and they are off now. Everyone's on the slick tires still, so Everyone expecting this to be a high grip moment. Super S2K is going to keep first. Ryder tucks in behind him. Shred already challenging down the inside of turn one around Ryder. Maybe even going to try to take something from Super S2K here. He's not going to make it. He's still got just the nose up ahead of Ryder. Ryder will have the inside for the next turn. But the long legs of the Aston Martin give Shred what he needs. He takes second place before turn two, and now the chase is on between Super S2K and Shred, our two championship leaders. Ryder is there. Jeffrey still behind. I guess that Ferrari didn't quite get the launch that he needed. He still is in fourth place where he started this thing. Behind him, we got Rusty and Hot Air. I think everyone got away safely. Did you see any drama in the back there, Hover?
No, not really. Everyone was pretty tidy, be it in single file or double file.
Looks like it. That is such an amazing camera angle there. We're here with the mid-pack looking at Stig following the shoe serum, both in the Nissan GTR and a higher place in the Lone Beetle in this gaggle of GTRs, 4 of them here with Corridor in last place behind. Coming back up front as Super S2K comes onto the front straight here, or gets close to coming onto the front straight. Out wide into the last turn, and then you cut back. It's such an interesting line through there to maximize your exit and get on that front straight and get the top speed that you can get. Super S2K doing about 130 right now. Shred behind them, both of them climbing up the revs, climbing up that speedometer. Shred will get the slight overspeed before the braking zone, I'm sure. Yeah, he's got the slip. He's definitely getting a little bit closer, but it won't be enough for him to challenge into the brakes. Super SDK typically pretty late on the brakes anyway, so Shred just hanging on. Oh no, and then he's out on the curbs. Too much curb, and he takes, is that Jeffrey? He takes, no, that was Corridor. How was Corridor involved? Oh, it was Ryder. It was Ryder. Oh no. Takes Ryder out with him. We do have a replay. We're going to take a look on board with Shred here. Maybe not on board, but we'll, yeah. Chase cam. He oversteers, then it snaps back into the curb, and then there he goes, nose towards the grass. Ryder had nowhere to go. He's around the outside. It was the safest place for him to be, or so he thought, and he gets pushed out, and Shred ends up in last place. Well, this is that worst case scenario we were talking about. Luckily, it's still early on in the race, but yeah, Shred's got to get up there.
Absolutely, this is absolutely now a drive or die situation. He must recover as many positions as he gets to minimize the damage that he's done for himself. Really unfortunate to see him lose so much traction during the power, but you know, that's exactly what I was telling you earlier, right? Even though this is much more of a dry race with everyone running the slick tires, you still have to be a little bit careful, a little bit mindful of where the rain can affect your driving, and that's one of the moments where it can catch you out if you aren't prepared.
You do. This is the strongest part of the track for the Aston Martin, but unfortunately everyone else has got the slipstream too. I'm staying with him to see if he's going to make an attack into the brakes, but maybe on the inside of Corridor here, he'll try to get that position. He's not going to get a higher place, and he does at 9th place ahead of Corridor, but the long legs of the Aston were not as useful to him as they could have been there, because everyone else also had a nice little hole being punched in the air for them. Let's go check out what's going on with Super S2K in first. Oh, he's got a huge gap, 2.8 seconds, 2.9 to Jeffrey, who's in second place. He inherited that after Shred and Ryder went out. He is not necessarily safe, but he's got a little bit over a second over Rusty Maggots and Ryder, who actually only ended up in 4th place. So he's not completely out of contention here for this race, but certainly wasn't what he was envisioning for the opening, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Well, oof. I mean, the good news is for Shred, even finishing in last place here in the sprint race, there's only 10 drivers today, so he'll still earn rather 10 points for the sprint race, which, you know, gets him a good way towards what he needs to make sure he stays with this championship clinched here. So as bad as it is, even if it got worse, it kind of can't get worse. For him, I guess that's the way I'm going to put that. Here, back in that straight, here's Ryder going for the move on Rusty Maggots, trying to get third place back. Is he going to outbreak the other Aston Martin on the track? It looks like he is. Can he hold on to it, keep it nice and tight on the apex and get on that gas? Yep, all smooth, no mistakes there for him. I don't even see that he's running traction control, which is brave, but well done to be super smooth on the throttle there. In fact, he goes purple in the first sector because of that move, that slip, definitely helping him out there. And he's back in the third place, making his way up the order to chase Jeffrey, who's got a penalty. Half second, that'll help. I think you served the penalty. Ooh, where do you serve the penalty here? It's the main straight, isn't it? Oh, the worst place that you could catch it. Wow. That feels like, I don't know, that's like racism and sexism and just, that's just all rolled up together. No matter who you are, it's just evil. Well, Jeffrey's definitely going to lose second place, possibly even third. Rusty's not that far behind Yagami. Obviously, we just saw him get past there. He is going to lose a little bit of time to him in these final corners just because of the dirty air. Well, maybe not. He's not that close. Ooh, Ryder with a nice line through the second to last corner there to get even closer to Jeffrey. He's going to want a good exit here, but he's going to want to back off of him a little bit as well. He doesn't want to mess up his chances at a decent slipstream before Jeff has to slow down. And there he is going offline, and Yagami's going to chase him as long as he can, get that slip, try to keep Rusty Maggots away from him. Jeffrey's able to tuck in behind Ryder. Can Rusty get around him before the braking zone? He's got the overspeed on him for sure. What's he going to do here? Oh, that's not Rusty. We're looking at the nose of Rusty Maggots there. That is Jeffrey just to the left of him, and it's a drag race into the second turn here. Rusty will have to go for an undercut if he's gonna get a position. Jeffrey covers it off very well. It's not possible. The move is not made. Jeffrey successfully keeps his loss to just one position there, but he's got a lot of catching up to do on Ryder in second place if he wants to actually get away from Rusty, who's got the Aston and all that top speed.
Absolutely, and a quick update on Shred. He is able to make a move on both higher place and Stig, getting higher place on lap 3, and then Stig right now on lap 5 going into turn 1. And he's trying to make another move on Truth going into the final sector. Truth makes a flinch, hits Ayer as a result, and Shred is able to make 2 for 1 at the beginning of sector 3.
Wow, no way. We just kind of caught that on camera. Not well. It looked like a little bit hairy for Shred there. We can go ahead and go to a replay and see how that all worked out for the Stig. Well, we'll see how it works out for Shred, actually. Here they are coming down into the Dunlop chicane. Hairpin situation. Shred, Truth hits the back end of Hot Air, pushes him a little bit wide in the braking zone. That allows Shred, who kept a nice, neat line through there, to get inside and get the acceleration out of the chicane. And he's able to take both positions without doing too much work. Well done there. Hot Air looking to get back on him in turn 1, though. He's not going to make it happen. Maybe a little bit more defending against the Truth, who's back there getting his position taken away from the Stig. Or by the Stig. English is hard. My cat wants to be part of the broadcast now. She's going to scratch the heck out of me. I don't want to miss any action, though. The Stig really under attack by the Truth here. This is hairy for these two drivers. There's a lot of other drivers around them, obviously just waiting to take advantage. Meanwhile, Shred and Hot Air are starting to run away because of this fight between the two of them. Shred, of course, wants to. He's in 5th place now after falling to last place. It's only been a few laps. But the real battle still going on between these two. The Truth and Stig coming into Dunlop now. The Truth will have the inside for the chicane. Stig will look not to lose a position to higher place. I think that's the best move. Maybe not try to get the cutback on the Truth, but try to defend yourself from getting taken advantage of by the higher place. But a Higher sees blood in the water. He's looking for it. The Stig will have the inside for the next turn, but if Higher can hang it around the outside, he'll have the inside going onto the back straight. Meanwhile, here comes Corridor to look for his spot in all of this. He's not able to make anything happen. The Stig keeps his track position. Corridor on the inside of higher place going into the last corner, but wasn't able to out-accelerate the Beetle, and he will sit in last place. This battle this mid-pack, final pack battle has been the same basically all race long so far. 7 laps in, these drivers are still bumper to bumper, still on each other's slipstream as we start lap 7. Ooh, hover, take it.
Just a little bit up ahead. Javier still only 8 tenths away from Shred, and I noticed Jeffrey does a mistake, brakes a little bit too late going to turn 1, allowing Rusty to now be under a second to Jeffrey. If he's able to get into the slipstream, he'll have an amazing defense against Shred, who's now trying to get himself back onto the podium up in front. Super S2K with 6.5 seconds against his compatriot with Ryder, who is 2.5 seconds away from Jeffrey. So those two, I'm pretty sure, are pretty much guaranteeing their podium spot right now. So really, the final question is who is gonna take the 3rd place amongst these 3 drivers. Shred slowly bringing down the gap, now only to 2.1 seconds. Last lap it was at 2.5, now under 2 seconds as I make a correction. Javier falling away a little bit behind in 6th place. Truth trying to follow, but again falling away behind. Stig getting a little bit closer to him. 7.5 tenths going into the final sector. If he's able to get a better exit going out of the final turn, as I say that, Truth does a little bit of a spin, or not a little bit of a spin, just spinning the wheels out of one of the corners. But Stig is now less than 5 tenths, or actually in 5 tenths. Now he's going down the straight, close behind Truth, in the same car, maybe not the same aero settings, but he may be able to make a move. Going to turn 1, shifting up into 6th gear. Truth does an early defense, but doesn't go too far deep. Stig has no response to it, too far away, and they have to settle for at least one more lap to see if Stig gets another chance going to turn 1.
Meanwhile, Corridor has gotten 9th place away from a higher place. I noticed the higher was a little bit sketchy in the last lap in the second sector here, rather. I think maybe that helped Corridor get close enough to get something away from him. So a positional change in last place for Corridor and a higher place. Up front, we noticed AMS Super S2K, nothing to say there. He's absolutely running away with it. He's over 6 seconds up on Ryder, who's in 2nd place, who's not too far from Jeffrey. It was about a 2-second gap the last time around for those 2 drivers, but we're starting to see a lot of drivers separate themselves from one another. Not as fun to watch in the turn 1, of course, but Shred is still fighting his way towards Rusty Maggots, trying to close that gap, if anything. It's 1.3 seconds now. Kind of hard to tell and be accurate with that when they're in this final sector. There's a lot of braking around here, but once they cross the line and start finish, we should get an accurate look at just how much closer or further Shred might be from getting that 4th place and making his way onto the podium if possible.
Absolutely. Now getting the gap down to 1.1 seconds. Shred will most certainly have a chance, at least against Rusty in these final few laps. I'm not quite sure if he'll have a chance against Jeffrey, though. He's been driving very well this entire sprint race. His fastest lap with a 39 flat. Very impressive considering he's been out for a few races at this point.
Yeah, definitely been practicing. Maybe loves Fuji. I mean, the Ferrari also does really well around here. Great traction out of those slow corners. Corners like Dunlop and of course that whole final sector there. Just being able to keep the back end planted means a lot, especially in the wet here. Luckily, it's not gotten wetter. Ooh, how do you say that? Just like beautiful rotation out of that Ferrari there into I think that was Ford. I can't remember the name of the corner around here. 430, something like that. Weird Japanese numbered corner name. Number 4. But anyway, yeah, Jeffrey in 3rd place in the Twix Ferrari. I figured he'd be a contender up in the podium section, and sure enough, he is. Only 4 laps to go as we're coming to the close of lap 9 here with Jeffrey. Love the Christmas Twix livery, by the way. I used to run these ugly liveries every year. I had them for like my most commonly driven cars, and it was kind of like a joke because I'm really bad at making liveries. So I would just like pick a base color and then pick every Christmas related decal I could find in the showcase and just stick it on there. And those would be my liveries.
Not too bad, but hey, going back behind in fourth place, Shred is able to get into the slipstream going into the main straight. Still only 3/10 away, but does he go for a lunge going to turn one? He does, but he backs out. Well, he commits now. Getting to the apex first and cleanly makes a move against Rusty. I don't know if Rusty had to flinch there thinking he was going to go barging in, but he was able to make the move nonetheless. No retaliation going into turn three, though. It goes a bit wide, almost off the track, but Shred does take fourth place, and he has 3 laps remaining to get Jeffrey 2.6 seconds away.
We do have a replay of that pass. I'd love to see it from Shred's point of view. Maybe chase cam as well. There it is. I thought he dipped his left wheel into the grass and had to back out of it. Looks like, yeah, a little bit here. And yeah, I think maybe he didn't slow down as much as he wanted to. I do see a flinch from Rusty. Rusty actually leaves the door open. He goes out further wide instead of turning in, and that gives Shred the place there. I don't know that he was wrong about that. I don't think that Shred was going to stop in time. But the pass done, no touch, no harm, no foul. So Shred into fourth place, and he doesn't have long to get to Jeffrey. It's 3.2 seconds now between those two drivers. He still got Rusty behind him, of course, who could make a move. Who knows? I don't know. You're right. They could have different aerodynamic settings in the same car, but one might be running less rear wing than the other, or front wing. That's kind of what makes it interesting when you allow brake bias and aero and stuff like that. The cars will behave differently, even if they're the same car.
Absolutely, especially if you look back in eighth place, Stig is trying to make the defense against Corridor, but he wasn't able to do it. Going to turn one, Corridor looks towards the inside, gets to the apex, but wasn't able to make the move then, but now he has a better run out of turn one. Stig still keeping his wheel onto the inside, is able to brake a little bit later. Corridor has no response, has to stay behind, but now higher place is close behind going into the bend, but wasn't able to do anything. Dirty Air restricting his front downforce, not able to turn the car as much as he wants. Maybe Higher gets a little bit of a better chance going into turn of sector 3, but it looks like the cars have settled and are now even.
Yeah, wow, they come down 300, are now towards Dunlop. And yeah, that was a little bit scary for Corridor there through the other turn, whose number I can't remember. Gosh. I thought that maybe he might end up going a little wide. It's so hard to follow there in the dirty air and keep it nice and neat. You either have to slow down enough to let a higher place take the position from you, or keep it tight. Looks like he made it work out, but a higher place has not given up on getting into this battle. He does get ahead of Corridor, at least temporarily. He's got it outside for the last corner, though. He's not in the right place to make a position, and sure enough, he still gets to 8th. He's got ahead of Stig. I'm not even sure how that happened. The camera angles were weird. We're gonna have to rewatch it. Not yet. Let's see what happens in the turn one, because the Beetle's not known for its high speed. Both the Stig and Corridor in his slip. They're both gonna pull out. They're like, absolutely not. They're gonna bully the little Beetle into turn one, not Corridor. He will tuck in behind him. Stig, though, Stig commits to the turn, commits to making the move, and he gets 8th place. Corridor with the nose ahead of a higher place. Does he have a better exit out of that turn? No, not quite. He's almost alongside, but not able to make it work. Oh my gosh, this three-way battle for not last is incredible as you come to the second to last lap. Please make sure I'm not missing anything good up ahead with Shred or anything like that, but a higher place not giving it up. That Beetle is amazing through these technical corners. It is quicker than I think both GTRs. It just doesn't have the legs. Just doesn't have the legs to make these moves stick, but certainly handling like a go-kart through these turns. And you see Corridor looking left, looking right, Stig hoping they get into it, so he's got some breathing room because a higher place is all over the back of him as well. We're almost back where we saw this thing start in that final sector there.
Absolutely nothing of note up ahead. Just Truth getting a little bit closer here in 6th, but not enough to really take our eyes away from this three-way battle.
Fantastic. Higher place does not seem to be able to make a move on the Stig. Even if he gets a better exit in this last turn here, it might just be enough for him to stay in Stig's slipstream and protect himself from Corridor, but I don't think he's going to gain a position up. As we say, he's going to pull out of the slip of Stig. He's not going to be able to do anything out of it, I don't think. Well, maybe dumped a little air on that real wing there of Stig's. A little bit of a side draft going on for him. He does deny Corridor his slip, but yep, he's not able to maintain that position. He will outbreak Stig into turn one, though, continuing the fight. Oh, Stig, a little bit of an oversteer into the side of Hot Air. He's got to let off the gas. That's going to give Corridor, or not Hot Air, sorry, Higher Place. That's going to give Corridor the room to get into ninth. Oof, do you still have the last replay, McNaughty? I'd love to see that. Okay, let's catch that. Let's catch that first pass for a Higher Place. Oh, well, maybe not as far back as we wanted. Yep, but, you know, this is him making that pass there. Somehow we've ended up with Hot Air. There we go. That's Stig. Stig is gonna pull out so he can make that move into turn one. Breaks just a heartbeat later than a Higher Place does. There's Corridor looking for his move as well. And that starts another lap of battles there. All right, let's get out of this. Let's go see it live. In fact, we our race winner just crossed the line, Super SPK. We missed it. Ryder into second place. He stayed in second the whole race. Jeffrey's going to take third. Shred only made it up to fourth. Rusty will cross in fifth. Hot Air in sixth with the Truth behind him in seventh. Behind them, here's that fight. A Higher Place maintains eighth place. Corridor into ninth. And Stig will end up in last place despite his brave defense and coming back on a Higher Place there. What a finish for the not last folks. And what a drive for Shred to get back up into fourth place after ending up in dead last on like lap 2. That was an incredible race in the rain here at Fuji. Wow. Well, Hover, do you mind reading the classified results for us?
Of course. The sprint race winner is none other than Super S2K, with second place being Ryder, and then third place finishing out the podium is Jeffrey with his return. Shred in fourth after going from dead last because of going off on the second lap. He was able to recover up the ladder. In fifth place, we have Rusty. In sixth place, we have Hot Air. In seventh place, we have Truth trying to run down Hot Air, but just wasn't able to get enough pace in him. Higher place, able to get the last two spots right before the end of the race. And then going on to ninth place, Corridor making a move because of Stig's result because of Stig's mistakes, and because of that, Stig unfortunately rounds out our grid in last place in 10th.
Nice. Thank you very much for that. So we wait now for the reset to the other layout. We're doing the Fuji short layout, which remind me, the Fuji short layout in this game, I don't know that I've driven it actually. Where, I guess we'll find out where it cuts in a moment here, but are you familiar with it?
Yep, it just takes away one corner.
I thought so. It just straightens out the Dunlop chicane, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Just instead of making a chicane, it's just a quick right-hander. And honestly, in some cars, it's actually a pretty fun corner because it's just a very fast 90-degree right that you have to really nail down. But yeah, you know, as much as it has the short abbreviation, it's like 0.01 miles shorter.
Nice. Well, it should be a fun corner in these cars because we're moving to formula cars, single seaters, high downforce, the SF23, which I guess is equivalent to what, like not a Group 4 car, or not Group 4, sorry, a Formula 2 car, but maybe a Formula 4. I'm not sure.
It's if I remember correctly, technically a bit faster than a Formula 2 car, a bit slower than a Formula 1 car. I think it's actually...
Oh, that's where it sits.
Yeah, I think roughly it's actually around the same pace as typically an LMDH car, or the hypercar class. There we go.
Interesting. Got it. It's a little bit faster than I thought. Anyway, it's called the sprint race, but it's actually 34 laps. So Sorry, the qualifying, or it's called the feature race rather. It's 24 laps. The qualifying was held by the sprint race. So the finishing order of the sprint race, with the top 7 in reverse, is what will determine the order of the grid in this race. It is a rolling start, so they'll be coming in from that last turn there. Balance of performance is on, and only brake balance can be changed with these cars. 2 tire compounds are required, so we are expecting a dry race. Tire wear will be at 2x, fuel use will be at 2x, and the refuel rate will be at 3 liters per second. We'll be racing in the evening, so the track will be a little bit cool. We'll see how that goes with the time multiplier being only at 1x, see if it gets much cooler throughout the course of the race. There is a random weather slot there, I see, in the weather. I don't think it'll get to rain, but it does start off cloudy, then get sunny, so who knows? Who knows?
Absolutely. But if we remember, well, very quickly, thank you again to Trails and for sponsoring this season. You've been with us from the beginning. You've actually been with us before the season started. So thank you guys once again for being along with us. But very quickly, I want you to remember all the way back to, I think it was round 5 with the Nürburgring race. That feature race then had a random weather slot, and it went tormenting. Had a bit of a monsoon at the beginning of that race.
Yes, I kind of remember that. Okay, well, we'll see. We'll see. Let me do what I need to do on my end to make sure that everyone else can see what we're gonna have going on here. Doo-doo-doo.
Well, Toddy, have you had any good experiences racing at Fuji?
I had some great experiences racing at Fuji. Like I said, it took me a while to warm up to this track, but I do really enjoy it. It's a track that is both technical and super like crazy fast, and you can't really beat that. What I don't have much experience in is these high downforce cars, which I mean I know this track is really well suited to that. Obviously, it used to host Formula One races. In fact, I mean this track goes back far enough to host like Group 5 races and stuff. And I think even some Can-Am cars have raced here. It's fantastic.
So that was a time before I was born, so I
Me
can't
too.
exactly guarantee that, but I wouldn't be surprised.
It was definitely before I was born too, but that is just to say that this thing has hosted some incredibly fast machinery, and yet somehow it's still a beloved track for like regular touring cars, right? Like you can find footage of just like old Nissan GTRs racing here, and not always high budget like V12 giant wing type cars. But it seems to do both pretty well. I think these cars are probably pretty fun to race around here, at least for drivers who are fond of the high downforce stuff. I don't know how to trust it. That's my problem. I can't drive them fast because I don't know how to rely on downforce for my grip.
Well, I think well, speaking to that, I think one of the biggest challenges these guys are going to have to handle is adjusting from the Group 3 cars and then hopping into the Super Formula cars. Because you're right, these cars have a lot of downforce. It's I'm going to take my statement a little bit back. I think it's a bit slower than the hypercar class. Typically, it would be Formula One is the fastest at most tracks, then the hypercars, and then I think it's the Super Formulas. But it certainly has a lot of downforce that these drivers have to, know how to navigate, know how to, really use effectively, especially when it comes to keeping their tires alive for these stints. And yeah, I think, one of the natural things is trying to get yourself situated driving into this car after you had a decent race in the Group 3 machinery.
That's right. Not braking too soon and not, bleeding off too much speed through the turn, which will just hinder you. The faster you go, the more downforce you'll generate. Of course, there is a point of now you've gone too fast and you can't generate enough downforce to make the thing happen. But knowing where that point is, knowing where that balance is certainly the challenge for these drivers as they move from cars that while they do rely on downforce as well, rely more on their mechanical grip than anything else. we were on board with the truth, and we're still with him. Now we're just sitting on top of his halo. He's going to slow down. But that was a nice view there, watching him take a lap around this place. And now we're going to switch. Oop, my bad. Thank you. Thank you. We're going to switch to the front of the race, which the truth gets to start on pole because of the reverse of the first 7 drivers. We're starting in a okay, it is a rolling start. Sorry, it looked like they were starting a grid start, but yeah, the lights are going off now. We'll get the green. Everyone's going to be full throttle right now, at least at home on their rig or in their controller, and they're off now. The truth into turn 1. He should not be challenged here, but behind him we do see a challenge from Shredder in 4th place on Rusty, looking to get that surprise third. Sneaky Shred did the same thing in the last race. He's not going to make it happen though. Rusty able to hang on to that, able to keep enough speed around back. Ooh, hot air wide into the turn. A few other people wide into turn 2. Ooh, Jeffrey, a big wobble there as Ryder now comes into challenge. Ryder, of course, will be trying his best to get up to the top as fast as possible. He finished his race in 2nd, which means he started this one in 6th, and they're getting into it with one another. Can't tell if there's contact there or if Jeffrey is just losing the rear end of that car, but not looking great. Jeffrey going a little bit too quick, and he's out wide behind him. Who was that? That's the Stig way off track there, and he is going to start this thing in last and still be in last place, but not alone. A higher place is right there, actually, and he's in last place now because I think he went off track a little bit. The car is a little twitchy for the drivers here, Hover.
Absolutely. I'm wondering what their changes in the arrow that they did. At least I don't remember if you can actually affect the arrow. I don't think you can.
It's off for this race.
Yeah, it's off for this race. As I say that, Super S2K gets ahead of Shred going onto the main straight, using a little bit of overtake. Shred isn't able to make any sort of defense. Luckily, Shred has the point advantage, so he doesn't necessarily need to beat Super S2K to win the title, but this does play into Super S2K's hand. If Shred doesn't get a half decent result, he is in danger of losing the championship.
That's right. Well, Shred has to finish this race in 8th place or better, I believe, in order to maintain the championship here. So obviously he doesn't want Super S2K to get ahead of him, but I'm with you. He shouldn't fight him too hard because you don't want to mess yourself up and end up in 8th place trying to keep this guy from 1st place. Doesn't matter if he's in 1st. What matters is that you get 7th or better. So Shred, I'm surprised that he's got some color on his livery here. Have you ever seen Shred in a color?
Yeah, now that you mention it, no, I think most of his liveries the entire season has been black. I think there was 1 or 2 liveries with like the Group 2 cars or maybe the Corolla where he had a little bit something more colorful, but yeah, most of the time it has been just black. As I say that, Jeffrey was able to speed along past Rusty, unable to really make a difference, but Rusty he does not make a lunge going into the inside. He was able to get some of the speed back with the slipstream, but isn't able to do anything with it. Jeffrey did use a little bit more overtake to get himself away from Rusty. As I say that, Super S2K was able to make a move on hot air.
Nice job there by Jeffrey to make that move on Rusty. He did use a little bit of the overtake juice to get that done here. These cars, of course, are gifted with, I think he used a little bit more actually, even after turn 1, because he had more a moment ago, but trying to get away from Rusty Magnets and stay away, maybe to catch up with Shred and everyone else up front here. These cars do have some overtake, but it is limited. It's I guess we'd call is it nitrous or is it battery power? It's got to be battery, right?
Yeah.
It's actually adding extra fuel. Interesting. Sorry, I should let you answer that first.
No, it's fine. Nope, it's not really ERS in Formula One. Like, it's not an electronic system. It's just them putting more gas into the cylinders to make a bit more boom.
Well, that would explain why you have a finite amount to use, because you're going to have a finite amount of gas in that tank there. So what happens when they pit? Does it regenerate? If they fill up enough?
Nope, it's just you use it, it's gone for the rest of the race.
Got it. Got it. Interesting. Interesting situation there. As we say, Shred is attacking Hot Air, gonna get third place here soon if he has his way. Hot Air. I'm not even sure how Shred ended up. Oh, he ended up behind Hot Air because he's always been behind Hot Air. He just hasn't overtaken him just yet. He started this race down further back because of the way the order works here. Hot Air able to keep away from him a little bit here. Of course, they're going through the more technical section of the track. It's harder to follow here in the dirty air. You see Shred taking a tighter line through these last corners here in order to try to stay out of that dirty air and make sure that he's able to get that nose pointed where it needs to be pointed. Right here, though, on this front straight is where he'll have his best opportunity to make a move, as he won't have that problem. But again, Hot Air will have that overtake that he can use, and he does take it down to 3/4 of a tank. Shred doesn't seem to be using his much, if any. I think he's content to just stay right there as long as Jeffrey isn't too much of a challenge for him. So no move being
Absolutely.
made there. You see anything going on elsewhere on track?
Just up front, Super S2K was able to make a move on Truth on the straight. Truth did try to use his overtake to defend. If you look at him, he only has half of his overtake left, and it's only been 5 laps into the race. But he wasn't able to do anything against Super S2K with his overtake and the slipstream.
Got it. So Super SDK into first place. I mean, of course, he will be battling to get there because he knows if he's going to get anything in the championship, the win is a necessity for the most part. Unless Shred does really, really badly here. So for Super S2K, the best insurance for him to do what he can is to get wins. So it makes sense that he wanted to get up front very early on in this race. And he's put several cars between himself and Shredder down in fourth place there. Behind them in the mid pack, we're seeing Jeffrey in fifth, not quite letting go of Shred's coattails. Got Rusty behind him. Ryder is still in seventh place, just unable to really make up positions from starting towards the mid pack here because of where he finished in the sprint race. He's got a lot of overtake left, so, we may see that change later on in the race or later on in the first stint at least. But for now, he's chilling in seventh place. Higher race is in eighth over Corridor in ninth. And the Stig is down in 10th place by 12 and a half seconds right now. Did he have to pit or something?
I don't think so. I think he had an early spin and just never really found his groove again, unfortunately.
Got it. Got it. You're right. If he had pitted, he'd be further back also. So, yeah, just hasn't found his groove around here. We talked about it being difficult to go from the GR3s to this car. So far, we've seen the cars be a little bit more under better control for the drivers than the first lap or two. That was pretty hairy between them, but everyone seems to be settled in now. And their track positions are obviously not everyone is fighting with someone actively. Ooh, Shred into third over Hot Air. Don't even know when that happened, but that's done, and he didn't use any more overtake to make it happen. So maybe Hot Air had a moment there. Let's see, Hot Air's last lap, the 20.6, that's 6/10 down from what it used to be. And then Shred with a 19 flat in that last lap. Big difference between those two. But anyway, what I was saying is everyone's where they are on the track, but this overtake, could change anything in a heartbeat if someone just decides to use it.
Absolutely. It's one of those things where the drivers have to really be knowledgeable, right? You can't be too aggressive with it, or else you'll just use it really early and never really have a chance to defend later on in the race. But any amount that you have left over in the tank, but once you cross that finish line, is basically useless, and you might as well have used it earlier on. It's just one of those things where you really have to consider where you want to use it. You could use it as in you can only use it when you're trying to overtake or trying to defend, or alternatively, you could possibly pace yourself and use it at very specific points of the track over the entire race distance to increase or to improve your lap times. But as a result, you won't be able to use it to defend as much, right? It's just one of
That's
those
right.
tools where it's just I like to think of it as like a power up in Mario, right? You can be a bit more aggressive with whatever power up you get, the shroom or the fire flower, but if you mess up, the consequences are going to be considerable.
They are. You won't have that power up there to use when it's a dire need. But to your point, I guess the goal, if you just use a little bit every lap and it's already measured, is that you won't have to fight. Hopefully you've got enough of a boost of your lap time that nobody can catch you. um every driver's going to do it a little bit differently, like you said. Super S2K, it looks like he's maybe doing a little bit of both. I mean, obviously he must have used it to get up to where he's at right now, but right now he's just chilling. So maybe he'll hold off on it, or maybe he'll use a little bit at a time to the end of this race. He's 4 seconds up the road from the truth right now, though, so very, very safe for him. And that livery clearly inspired by Mercedes. Let's see. Well, I mean, actually, I think those have been the Apex colors all season, but that one really looks like a Mercedes livery. It does. Shred still in third place, 2.3 seconds behind the truth. So that's where we are with that. 2.3 seconds for him. He's in a very safe place right now. We're 9 laps into this race, or starting lap 9 rather. And it's a long race, 34 laps. So yeah, definitely not the time to take any crazy risks, of course, for him or anybody in this place. And yet, there's glory to be had. It's the last race of the season.
Absolutely. As much as we're covering between Super S2K and Shred, ultimately a lot of these drivers could possibly get one or two good, well, now only one good result, but that could change their final placings, right? I think Rusty, Truth, Hot Air, they've all been very close to one another throughout the entire season. So, the second place, if Truth is able to finalize that second place, that could possibly launch him ahead of the two drivers, and that's just how it is, right? It's not really over until it is over. And these drivers are going to be driving every single lap as if that is the philosophy that they have to take in.
That's right. That's right. When we watch some of these drivers on track right now, some drivers like the Stig and Hot Air only 1 point away from one another in the championship here. Others are, less than 10 points. Some folks less than 20 points. So it still matters for some of these finishing positions. And so they'll be trying to get what they can here. It's been a good season. I think everyone's been for the most part fairly happy. Wish we saw some of these other drivers come back. There are some battles that were pretty close, but now the driver hasn't joined, like Ando and Stig are 8 points away from another in the championship. But we don't have Ando here tonight, unfortunately. Gosh, who else? Who else
Oh,
is
True
close?
in third place, spins out. He was in second, spins out right after the bend, spins out into the left wall. Do we have a replay? It looks like we do, going around the bend and then going into the left-hander. He is able to hit the apex perfectly, but gets on the power a bit too early with a little bit too much steering. Causes him to go immediately to the left and hit his front wing. Luckily, we have light damage on, and he recovers into 6th place. Damage already repaired, but now he's following closely behind from Rusty. Now we're getting more action, Taddy.
Yep, here comes Ryder behind him. Ryder gonna look for an overtake here for sure. Rusty doesn't really have much to defend with. He's only got a little bit of overtake left. He is trying to use it just to stay just ahead of Ryder. Ryder himself gets off of his button. He doesn't want to use all of what he's got, and doesn't get the position. Maybe, almost gets, and behind him,
Ooh.
a higher place with a spin, just too much throttle. I think that was a power oversteer there for him in the turn one. Ryder almost getting to the back of Rusty in the turn one, braking there. I think a higher place, man, I think he was lucky not to hit a wall or anything like that, but I think that was just kind of a self.
Oh, True spins, Rubber spins again at the same corner. I don't know if they touched, but they just
Rusty.
spun out into one another in 5th and 6th.
Oh no, I can't get to them. There we go.
I'm not quite sure what happened. Do we have a
That's a
replay
big
on
off.
that?
No, our
He didn't
replay
get it in
catches it when it's
time.
already happened. Oh my gosh, huge moment. Oh, and then the Rusty, or the Truth rather, just too much heat in that tire, tries to turn the car around and does another full 360 on him. Now he's going to take it a little bit easy on the throttle to get around, and he is in ninth place. A huge fall down the order for the Truth from second place, right? He was in second, first really, and now into ninth, behind or in front of only the Stig, who's not too far behind him. So it's been a poor couple of laps here for the Truth. Unfortunately, Ryder into eighth place, even further back than where he started. He's just unable to get further up the order. We saw him trying to get past the Truth using the overtake, used a bunch of it actually, couldn't make the move because the Truth defended with what overtake he did have, and yeah, they must have got into it with one another later on, around here, I guess. Man, what a moment. What did that start with? That started with the Truth in the hairpin, right? Oversteering, coming out of the hairpin. It's super easy to do right here in this turn. Even when you feel like, okay, I'm straight enough now. I'm at the point where I'm straightening out the wheel. I'm letting some angle out. For some reason, you can still spin it. You can still spin it on corner exits there. And that's what we saw happen to Truth. It looked like such a late spin. Ryder now riding alone, 3.7 seconds behind a higher place, who we saw spin, and now he's got seventh because of those drivers ahead of him making mistakes. Corridor is all the way up into sixth place after starting this thing, I think in ninth, almost last.
Yep.
Rusty to fifth. Jeffries in fourth place. Both of those drivers riding alone as well. No one really near them. Hot Air is in third place. Hot Air is on a podium run right now in this race, which obviously was not expected at this stage, probably. But I mean, not that Hot Air has not been doing great this season, but some huge moments with some big implications going on in this race. 13 laps in, though. We're not even halfway.
No, we're not. And, it's anyone's game right now. Hot Air is able to really keep Jeffrey very, very humble, almost matching. Actually, I think he is outrunning Jeffrey overall in the lap times, while keeping his tires a little bit better as well. So I don't know if his pace is just simply better or Jeffrey's falling off because he's chewing his tires a little bit more. But regardless, Hot Air able to keep Jeffrey very, very stable and very, very humble. Unfortunately, Super S2K just seems to be running away with it. I don't think Shred has much of an answer to his pace at the moment, but I do say that as he gets his personal fastest lap with an 18.8. And yeah, I think it's going to be more interesting to see some of these guys that, spun higher, Ryder, and Truth, who have a little bit more pace, see what they can do to recover, because you're right, we're only halfway through this thing. Halfway through this thing.
We're on board with Shred right now, taking his time through a lap. We missed turn one, or we saw him go through turn one and turn two there. Now he's through Coca-Cola and into 100R, the long sweeper down to turn six, the hairpin. I think not the only hairpin on this track, but it's called the hairpin. This corner here going through now is 130R, full throttle, pinned down into Dunlop corner, that 90-degree right we mentioned at the beginning of the race, and now into the final corners of the lap. Nets corner coming up here. This left-hander, you go out wide and then cut in for this corner. Same with the very last corner. Doesn't have a name. No, I'm sorry, that's not true. It's Panasonic corner, of course. And onto the back straight. That's a lap around here at Fuji. It goes quickly, a 118 in these cars compared to, what were we getting in the one GR3s? Can't even remember.
138s, 139s.
You're right. Closer to 140. So a full 20 seconds slower. Shred is in the second place. That lap there shows us why. And he still got a ton of overtake, by the way. He is 10.5 seconds back on Super S2K, but he's not made much use of the overtake to get himself up into second place here after starting fairly down the order. But yeah, Super S2K is gone. Hot Air, third place. He's keeping Jeffrey at bay, like you said. Both of them have the same amount of overtake left, though, so we may see something go down between these two at the end of the race. I don't know. The way it's been going, the way we've seen folks spin and get off this track, and I still think that we can't predict any finishing order here at all. I think we just got to keep watching.
Absolutely. Just going into a little bit of a strategy now. Everyone's field does look pretty much in line of what what you need it to be. Even if anyone does need to refill, it's just going to be a splash and go. But tires wise, I think we are going to see a lot of these drivers pit around lap, 18, 19 to lap 22, 23. The softs, I think, are going to be able to last from a good 14 laps, regardless of how hard you drive it. So, I think once we get to that point, we're just going to see a lot of drivers slap on the softs, and if they do need to refill, it's going to be a very quick refill. But I highly doubt anyone's going to do that because I think fuel saving will just be a little bit more effective. And yeah, I think that at that point, it's just going to be them managing their overtake till the end.
Yeah, that's that. So, um, kind of not kind of anticlimactic, to be honest with you right now. But I say that, but we're not at a climax. We're not even halfway through the race. We're almost halfway through the race. I think after the next lap, we can call it halfway. And everyone's pretty spread apart now. But like I said, we've seen what happens when drivers lose their concentration, a little lapses in concentration here. So you never know what might happen. It's pretty cloudy out. I don't think we're going to see any rain, any wet. Though we are approaching that, or we should be in rather, that random weather slot. I can't tell if it's getting any darker, but the clouds are here. So maybe we'll see something different for the strategy you name, but I doubt it. I think we're in for a dry race the whole time.
I think so too. Closest battle on track is going to be between third and fourth. Hot Air was just not really able to get any good laps these last couple of laps. Ever since setting his personal best with a 19.1, he's just been falling backwards into the clutches of Jeffrey, who more or less has stabilized his pace overall, but still he has the worst tires overall. If he is unable to get on to Hot Air's back before the pit stop phase, I don't really see if Jeffrey has any chance, because once Hot Air is in a groove and has the tires and the confidence underneath him, he's really able to get those laps going. So I don't know if Jeffrey has any answer to that. So I think this race really hinges on whether he can overtake Hot Air before the pit stop phase.
Got it. We'll see if he can do that. Indeed. Um, we're here with Shred. He's doing pretty good. Everyone's on the medium tire, so everyone's pace that we've been seeing, outside of those who have spun, where they are is kind of what we're going to get with them. But some drivers are better with soft tires than they are with mediums, and vice versa. So we may see some differences in pace and some changes once everyone does get off of this medium compound and goes to the soft tire. Um, and then of course we've got some folks who are not where they should be in the order, who can make changes in these gaps, and we'll have a pace differential to drivers ahead of them, which could lead to more battling, and that's what I want to see. Hot Air is not safe from Jeffrey. Like you said, Jeffrey's pretty close, and now that gap is less than a second. Hot Air may start using a little bit of that spray to get himself away from Jeffrey. But Jeffrey's got more than he does.
Absolutely. And I think for Hot Air, I think his real thinking right now is whether he should pit right now. That way he can kind of get a bit of an undercut from Jeffrey, give him a little bit of extra time to work with going onto the soft tires. But, he is going to be conscious of, as I say that, Jeffrey gets a 1 second penalty. Oh, that's so harsh for him. That's really going to drop him down to, I think, roughly 4 seconds behind Hot Air by the time to get into turn one. Oh, such a crucial mistake at this stage. But, as I was saying beforehand, yeah, Hot Air was probably thinking or just balancing his options between needing to go into the pits to get a little bit of undercut or not. Jeffrey using a little bit of overtake to recover some of his lost speed on the straight.
Yep, that's what it's there for. He's able to mash that button and try to see if he can salvage something here. But yeah, bad bad luck there. Whatever happened, I think he might have cut Dunlop. I didn't see the exact cut though for him. But he's got not great tires. Ooh, the truth will be our first person into the pits, and Ryder behind him into the pits as well, probably looking to cover off the undercut, make sure that doesn't happen. So these drivers thinking they can take this off to the end of the race. I believe it. It's a pretty light car. And yeah, we've got some technical corners, but you're able to be kind to your tires. And given that nobody here has been like riding somebody else's slipstream for a little while, you will have a little less tire wear because you're not in dirty air. Ryder is out um just behind the truth here, a little under 5 seconds for them. The Stig just pitted, and now he's going to come out behind our race leader, Super S2K. Is he close enough to get a toe? Maybe. Not quite. Not quite. That would have been helpful for him. Of course, he's way back there, but uh, has the Truth and Ryder, of course, to try and catch up with, if at all possible. 10.9 seconds between him and Ryder, so maybe not possible, but you never know. You never know. Super S2K was a
Yeah,
little wide there. I can't tell if it was wide, if that was lag, but that was scary.
it was a little bit. Toddy, I wanted to ask, you know, NRL season 6 ended a few weeks ago. I think 2 weeks ago, was it?
What's
Or no,
NRL?
no, no. NRL is such a small, unheard of league. No, NRL ended actually towards the beginning of this month. And of course, I think it was Jorge Sr. who won the overall championship. Well, the Division A championship, I should say. And I want to ask you, if you were to jump into this season, right? Let's say he started at the beginning or midway or whatever. How do you think he would stack up between Super S2K, Shred, and Wid? Well, I guess we already know what happened with Wid, but Super S2K and Shred.
Yeah, I was gonna say we've seen how he stacks up against Wid, and it's very very close between the two drivers. Lots of back and forth between them through the season. So I think he'd be right there with Shred and S2K because we've seen how Wid stacks up to them. Super S2K maybe has a little bit more pace over Wid and Shred, perhaps, depending. I think it depends on the cars really, and the combo. So I think that it would be pretty close and maybe neck and neck between himself and Jorge too. Having Jorge into this would have just Jorge and a couple other drivers of that caliber, and we'd be looking at a completely different championship picture here.
Absolutely. Maybe we should talk to whoever the owner of NRL is. This mysterious man. Maybe we should ask him to see if we can do a little bit of a champion versus champion race or something like that. But
Yeah,
regardless,
if
it's good
only I knew who to
to.
contact.
Yeah, if only we knew. Such a hard to get guy. But it's good to see that these 2 seasons, produce some fine quality racing. And as much as it's coming to the end, I think the viewers already know that this won't be the final seasons of their respective leagues.
Nope, nope. I know for sure that plans are already underway for this next season of S7R's um big series here. Shred into the pits. So second place into the pits there. Hot Air is going to overtake him and Jeffrey as they're not pitting, but they do owe pit stops. So Shred with a quick stop, no fuel. He's got it. He says, "Just the tires, please." And he's already back out into turn one here. So not too far behind Jeffrey and Hot Air, actually, who have not fresh tires, but we should be expecting to see them pit soon if they feel like they can make the softs last. I expect that might be why Jeffrey is staying out because he's not been great to those mediums for sure. He's going to want to be careful with softs, of course. But yeah, I think it's been a great season of racing between NRL and, of course, this league, which has been going for a few months more. Um, Drivers get to take a small break. IRO also ended too, so a lot of these drivers are in all of these championships, and some are in others that we're not even mentioning here. But typically around Christmas time, we start to see things wind down, and folks get a little bit of a break before the next season or seasons of racing start for them. Really nice. It's awesome to have such an active community in this game, truly.
Well, absolutely. Hot Air is going into the pits right now. Jeffrey following close behind. Jeffrey having a little bit less fuel, but that shouldn't really be much of a factor. I doubt he'll put in any sort of fuel. I think he'll just fuel save a little bit on the main straight if he needs to. But yeah, going back to what you said, it's good to see a good community all around. Jeffrey does take a little bit of fuel.
Ooh.
Um, Great to see a community still fall around, and well, definitely it's maybe shrunken since the launch of this game a few years back. It's just good to see that the competitive side is still committed to coming out and bringing great racing to all those who want to, who are seeking it and who love to enjoy it. And with December, obviously, we're going to see the Spec 3 update as well as the Power Pack DLC thingy majigger. Not quite sure if the Power Pack will really do anything for the league racing, but Spec 3 update will most certainly do. And I know a lot of the organizers that I've talked to are, kind of scratching their heads as to trying to find time to test everything out, because obviously it's during the holidays and they need to adjust their leagues a little bit with the whole new deals or update coming out. But luckily for everyone, going into January and then going into the rest of the year, I think everyone will have it down pat, and we'll come back to you with some amazing racing tidbits.
That's right. We still have some stragglers here who haven't pitted. Corridor, Super S2K. Here comes a higher place finally. But our leader and our second place, our third place driver rather, this is a higher place coming in. Everyone else has pitted, so just those two, Super S2K and Corridor, still owe pit stops. Hot Air too, maybe? No, Hot Air has pitted. So Hot Air in fourth with fresh racing softs on that beautiful SF23 race car. Yeah, this is a great community, great, super active, and it it's a testament to the Gran Turismo community that we've seen a couple of contenders, few new games come out over the last few months here, trying to take that away, right? Trying to take some of that community and get them to play their games. Maybe they feel like they could do it a little bit better, but Gran Turismo still the granddaddy on the console, at least as far as league racing and competitive racing goes. But I do like that there is competition, and I think that competition is probably what has led to Polyphony Digital deciding to even develop the Power Pack and the Spec 3 updates, because they knew that this Christmas would be a little bit rough for them as far as new games coming on the horizon. Corridor's in, so now it's just Super S2K that needs to come in. Just been chilling with Hot Air here. Let's see if there's
Absolutely.
some battling
Very
happening somewhere.
Yeah, very quickly. Fourth place, Rusty. Jeffrey in fifth place. Jeffrey behind, about half a second behind. I think due to Jeffrey's fuel or the added fuel that he took, I think he just fell behind Rusty in the pit stop phase, and Rusty was able to undercut him. And Rusty is not necessarily close to Hot Air. He's 3 seconds back. So yeah, Jeffrey definitely took a hit in his time because of the field that he had to take in. But we're going to see whether Jeffrey has the pace in it now with a better fuel tank. As I say that, he gets another second penalty. I think, Johnny, I just
Same
got to
spot.
stop commentating over him.
Well, it was the same spot we saw last time too in Dunlop. So another 1 second penalty for him. And I know this is not what he wanted to use that overtake button for. I was going to say that he's got a good amount of overtake juice left that he can use in these next 9 laps to, take fourth place and maybe get up to Hot Air in third and fight for that. But, now he's got to use it just to get back up to speed, which, yeah, not helpful for him here at all. Higher place running in sixth. Where's Ryder? Still in ninth. Ryder has not recovered since having that incident with the Truth. The Truth is in eighth place, 3.8 seconds ahead of him. Even though I think the Truth recovered, yeah, the Ryder had driven off, and the Truth had a spin again, just trying to drive off, and he is still almost 4 seconds ahead of Ryder, who just had a moment right there in turn one that's going to make that gap even bigger. almost running completely over that bollard there. Not good. Would have got clobbered in the head if there wasn't a halo. Anyway, yeah, so it's not been a great race for Ryder. This has kind of been, the name of the championship for him. Sometimes he's up, right there fighting for a podium, and then other times he's, just not had races where he could put it together.
Yeah, you're right. I've noticed that with him as well. Sometimes he just comes out and straight up wins, able to take away, valuable points from Wedge, Shred, Super S2K, and then, unfortunately, sometimes he's just not able to get the race that he wants, and he's a little bit further back. But right now, currently, the closest development will be Corridor and Truth in 7th and 8th, respectively. Corridor has had a very consistent race overall. I think he's definitely taking a bit more of a conservative approach in his mind. He is the champion, I think. No, was he not champion of Division B, Taddy, for NRL? Or was that Mr. Racing? I forget.
He is, he
He,
is, yeah.
well, he is. Never mind. I'm sorry. Corridor is the champion of Division B. I just can't talk to the owners. I don't know who wins, who doesn't. But he is definitely taking a bit more of a conservative approach. He may not have the outright pace, but he was ahead of Hire before the pits, and he's not necessarily having a bad race with these super formulas. Definitely a better race compared to his Group 3 result.
Yeah, the Group 3 result was tough for him. Granted, he had a lot of competition in the last few laps in the Group 3 result between Stig and a higher place. That was a big battle between them. And I think he ended up in the middle of the road in that battle between them. But yeah, he's having a quiet race here, a consistent race, been doing great. I think he might have been close to the podium at some point, but that might have been pit stop shuffling happening there when I saw that. I can't remember right now, but he's doing pretty well. He's got a decent amount of overtake left and not a lot of race to use it. So there's a lot of drivers that are hanging on to a little bit of juice, and I think we might see some things change, but most of the gaps are big enough that a little bit of and
Mm.
Ryder with a multi spin off there in ninth place. Maybe we can get a replay to see how that started. Oh, he's not able to get it under control just yet. This is coming into turn one here with Ryder. Uh,
Mm.
on the throttle, and it probably would have been okay, but then he also disturbed the back end of the car into the getting into the curb there. It's a big curb with a lot of character to it. It's a big divot and a crease in that curb, and it definitely changes the grip or the profile of the tire, the contact patch of the tire on the ground there. And now he's about to get lapped by our race leader. He will be getting blue flagged. If we had blue flags turned on, they're not turned on, but he's probably got enough awareness to know that he's got to get out of Super S2K's way if Super S2K ends up on his back there. But Ryder, ninth place, still ahead of Stig. We have seen some really big offs, and nobody has ended up behind Stig. Our fearless leader, I'm just giving him a little bit of a ribbing there. I know he probably doesn't have time to practice for this race, but dang, Stig, these guys are falling off track. Still not getting you. Super S2K finally into the pits for those racing softs. He's 26 seconds ahead of Shred. Should be able to get that pit stop off and get out of there before Shred catches up to him. Yet no fuel needed. Is Shred on that overtake button? Nah, he's not. He doesn't even see it as an opportunity for him because he's so far behind. And so Super S2K comes out with a little under a 15-second gap there. Now, maybe now Shred thinks this could be time for me to do something. I don't know. It's 10 seconds is the gap. Shred softs are pretty worn though. He got on him pretty early.
He did. I think right now it's just drive to the end because he you know, stewarding tickets, not counting. He is basically guaranteed to be the champion of the S7R Toyota Cup. Um, So yeah, I mean, there's not really much of a reward for Shred to push and to catch Super S2K, especially with him being so far back. But I think this is oddly a fitting way to see how a championship kind of just ends. You did all the hard work at the beginning of the season. He was right there with Win and Super S2K trying to get points away all these final rounds ago, and now he just gets a nice little, somewhat quiet Sunday drive around Fuji.
But Hover, I want to see them fight.
Well, luckily, our development between Rusty and Jeffrey is giving you a fight. Going into the final corner, Jeffrey is close behind, within 3/10 of Rusty, almost touching wing to rear wing. Now he's deploying his overtake. Rusty doesn't have much. He's going to have to really be careful with what overtake he can use. Rusty now is using a little bit of overtake, but usually using mostly the slipstream, unable to do anything. Does he go for a dive? He looks towards the inside. Jeffrey breaks a little bit late, but is able to get in stopped in time. Jeffrey solidifies his 4th place.
That's right. Jeffrey used a little more overtake towards the end there to ensure he did have a nose up into the braking zone. Almost made him go a little bit wide into the braking, but he's able to make it work. Now Rusty has the work to try to keep up with him. They have the same amount of overtake. Well, Jeffrey has a tiny bit more. They obviously won't know like who's got what exactly or how much they can use, but I do know that it's not the last lap yet, and so they're probably going to hold on to it. Ooh, Rusty out wide in is that Dunlop? That was Dunlop. I don't think he's going to pick up a penalty for that, so lucky for him. But it obviously just gives Jeffrey a little more breathing room, and it does take Rusty out of his slip for the crucial front straight here. Unfortunately, definitely not what he wanted to do in the last sector is fall far behind, and now it's 2.1 seconds. He will tap that overtake button. He's just a little bit of a spam, trying to get a little bit closer to Jeffrey. The gap is coming down barely for him there. So I think Rusty recognizes, okay, I can't catch Jeffrey. I think I really want to stay away from a higher place, though. Rusty, not safe. Not safe. Doesn't have much. Higher place has a decent amount of overtake. Let's see who else might be close to one another, and overtake could be a factor. Big gaps, huge gaps, huge gaps, huge gaps. Yeah, just Jeffrey, Rusty, in a higher place actually are the only ones who realistically could get into an overtake battle, and really it's mostly higher place and Rusty that we could see the overtake make a difference here. They're close enough to one another. Jeffrey happy to run away and get away from these two. He's going to leave the rest of that juice to the end, I think, in case he does have to deploy it to fight. My thing is, how do you know when? How do you know when the guy behind you has hit it? What if it's too late now? Got the overspeed. How do you know when you hit it too soon? Too soon, Junior.
These are great questions that are running through these guys' mind. It's a little bit of a chess match right now. Does Rusty deploy it? He does deploy it right out of the final corner, but is that the right call? Higher place has a little bit more overtake, but it doesn't seem to be using it quite yet. Pulls into the inside, middle of the straight. Rusty, does he have any sort of response? Doesn't try to use the slipstream, but does he go for the end? No, he doesn't. He stays behind, and Higher's just able to solidify. But he goes a little bit wide into the green turf, but doesn't get it too disturbed, is able to power out, and he takes 5th place.
That's right. And you see those red lights appearing over the heads of the drivers there on the engine. I think that means they have overtake left. The truth with none. He's got no light on. Ooh, and Ryder, another spin for him. Not sure what happened. We got him with the car stalled or something. He couldn't get it going. Can we see what happened there? Final sector coming to the last corner. It is easy to spin here. Let's see what happens. Doesn't clip the apex. And just too overzealous on the throttle there. Probably trying to make up for the fact that he didn't get that tight apex that he probably wanted. And Ryder's race just continues. And Stig still. Oh, sorry. 10 seconds behind him. We're on with Super S2K as he finishes this lap, or not quite. He's about halfway through the lap here. Is coming down towards Dunlop. I mean, it's been a dominant race for him, starting this thing in 7th place, using and deploying that overtake button to make sure he got into 1st place early on in the race. I think it was like lap 4 or something like that. He was already up in 1st, and now he's still got some juice left. Maybe he'll give us a little bit of a show in this last straight. Let's see how fast he can get that SF23 to go. Oh, and he's just gonna chill at 48 mile an hour for a little bit. Maybe give us a closer finish than we wanted. I don't know. Hey,
I
you
think
haven't
he's,
won it yet, Super S2K. You gonna go for a parade finish with Shred?
I
He's
think so. I think he's just giving respect to the champions. Unfortunately, Shred had a great feature race, so there isn't really much for him to be able to do. But I think he's just waiting for Shred. And
yeah,
yep, I
probably
think they're
letting
gonna go.
Shred take the win, maybe, or
Well, I
go
don't know about
together.
that, but at least they're gonna go, close to one another.
Cute, very cute. Here comes Stig. Stig. Hallmark moment. Shred's like, I refuse to take it. Here's Hot Air into 3rd place. I love how Stig trying to nudge him forward, like, take it, it's yours. No, the Rusty into 6th. Oh my gosh, these guys are hilarious. Corridor will cross the line in 7th place for us, and then we'll see the Truth cross in 8th. Ryder will come in 9th, quite a long ways back. He's about 40 seconds back, so he's still finishing up his lap. Stig has already taken the checkered flag, and we kind of saw him do it with the race leaders. So it's just a matter of watching Ryder finish this race out. Well done to him to stay through to the end, see it through. It wasn't a great race for him. There wasn't really much for him to gain, but he stayed. He stayed, and he is coming on to the final straight, the backstretch for the last time. The last time in this whole season, Yagami will cross the line and take the checker flag. And that is race number, oh gosh, what was this? Like race
Round
21?
12.
Round
Race.
12 felt like 21. Round 12 is
Well,
in the books. That's it, guys. That is the season 1 of the Toyota GR Cup. Not sure if we're gonna
absolutely.
see another GR Cup, but we'll see whatever we're racing in the next season. Can you read the results to us, please?
Of course. In first place, taking the win of the feature race, is our runner-up for the Pro-Am Championship in AMS Super S2K, getting the win. In second place, the overall champion of the Pro Championship, or I guess it is the overall champion. But anyways, RA Shred in second place, side by side with him at the line. Hot Air taking our final podium spot in third place. Jeffrey in fourth. Fifth place with Higher taking Rusty towards the end of the race in sixth place. Corridor getting a pretty good result. Seventh place, taking a very consistent mindset going into this race. Eighth place is Truth, unfortunately falling down from pole position at the beginning of this race. Ryder in ninth, and Stig in 10th, the organizer of this entire Toyota Cup.
Yes, that is where he finished one lap down. We saw him with that finish. Let's see. Hover, if you're Hot Air, you're in third place, and you pull up and Shred and Super SK are having this little hallmark moment. Tell the truth. You blasted past the line. Are you gonna slow down with them? I am flying by 8,000 RPM. Like, meow. Oh, but I would still say, hey, give it to them. Anyway,
Absolutely.
that's a wrap on the season. We're gonna obviously go talk to our podium winners there, two of them in a fight for the championship here, and then of course Hot Air into third place. Congratulations to him. Shall we go join them?
Absolutely. Let's get over there.
And we're back. We are in the interview room with our podium winners, plus an extra, but we're going to keep him a surprise till the end here. We're going to start this thing with Hot Air. Hot Air, third place for you in this race. I'm trying to remember. You have another podium, right? That's right. My bad. Yes. Nürburgring Red Bull. Well, welcome back into the room,
Thank
Hot
you.
Air. We love to see you here. I feel like you had a fairly quiet race this this feature race here. Where did you start?
Started in second. Because I finished sixth in the sprint.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So yeah, you just kind of kept it together, held on to it there. Well done for that. Are you is Fuji pretty much a strong track for you?
Believe it or not, it's really not. We started practice from the second that Dragon Trail ended, and we didn't stop until like 20 minutes before the race started.
Wow, taking it very seriously. I mean, it's worked out for you.
Very.
You got a podium to end this season out. That's awesome. Do you think we'll see you back for the next S7R league?
You better believe it. We'll
Absolutely.
be
I know
back.
we will. I know we will. Love it. All right. Thank you. Hover, you want to say anything to Hot Air?
Yeah, congratulations. It's been a very long season, and us watching you across every round, it's been amazing. It only took me 12 rounds to learn that your name is Hot Air instead of Hot Air, but we finally got there at the end. So congratulations to myself learning that. Overall, congratulations. It's been a great season for you, and obviously your entire team that came out. I just wanted to ask, going into this final round, was there any genuine goals that you wanted? Was there any final thing that you really wanted to leave on the track for the end of the
The
season?
the only thing, and it was kind of a trend across the entire season, is me and Stig were right neck and neck. As a matter of fact, he was 1 point ahead of me going into this round.
Yep, he was.
So just me beating Stig, that's all I that's all I really wanted.
Oh,
Hey, but
I mean,
I
you
got a lot
did
of
that.
respect for Stig. He's a great driver, and he's a heck of a host.
No, he is. I know it's great to see that. Like I said, it's been a long season. You've been in so many races and three podiums to round out the season. And yeah, I think you did it at the end. And congratulations to you. And
Awesome.
yeah, I hope to see you next season.
Oh, you will. I'll be back.
All right, thank you. Let's move on to our first place winner for this race, Super S2K. An absolute gentleman. You came into this league. Shoot, how many races in were we when you joined us?
I think it may have been 5 races in, if I'm not mistaken, but I think it was 5 races in that I raced.
5 races in, and you've consistently racked up podium finishes, win after win after win. I mean, got yourself to the point where you were in contention for this championship. Got to yourself to the point when we saw Shred end up in last place in the first race. You were like, oh, it's not over. It's not done. Um, man, I mean, it must have been dedication. I don't know. Please tell me that you practice and that you're not just jumping into these races and dominating like this.
No, trust me, I do practice. I wouldn't say an egregious amount, but whenever I see the guys on, I'll hop in if I have nothing else to do. But to be honest, I mean, like the Super Formula car, I'm just good in those. I do another series in Super Formula, so that one I kind of just jumped in and was kind of quick off the get go. But I just did practice with the guys to kind of help them out. Also, make sure I'm solid at the driving. But work does go into these races, so yeah.
It's fantastic. I mean, well, you earned it then. You earned it the hard way to get up to be here. You're second in the championship, as I recall now, behind Shred. You did what you needed to do to maybe win it if you could, which was win both
Yeah.
the sprint and the feature. You tried not to win the feature. That was cute, but
Yeah, we tried doing like a formation at the end there, but we thought Stig was Hot Air, so then I got confused, and then Stig tried bumping Shred, so I took a little bit safe, so I got on the gas, so it was a little bit of an ugly formation, but again, we tried.
you tried. You tried. It gave us a good laugh. We love it. Thank you for coming in and bringing the drama in these races for sure. Watching you come in and dominate and take up points and battle and fight your way through different races has been amazing to see. Thank you again. Hover, I pass it to you.
Yeah, Super S2K, congratulations on both wins tonight with the feature and the sprint race. My only question for you, I guess, is just when you entered this league for the first time, obviously you came in, I think your first round was the Nürburgring round. Looking at the point championship there, obviously, you were towards the back. Did you really have any? Did you believe that you could have been the champion all the way back then? Despite missing so many rounds at the beginning.
To be honest, no. I mean, the reason I was kind of pulled in here was to help NVR in the team championship. So that was kind of my goal, just kind of maximize my results, help the team as much as we can, which luckily we clinched the championship, I think, for the constructors a while ago, or for the team championship a while ago. But then after maybe, I think it was the race before Seaside, I was like, wait a minute, there's actually like a mathematical chance I could win. I just kind of needed Shred to do worse than what he did, but Shred's an amazing driver. He did good, and in the sprint race when I saw him go to last, I'm like, please stay there, because there might be a chance. But no, he's insane. He's one hell of a competitor and one hell of a teammate. So congrats to him on the championship, and again, thank you guys for letting me race in the series. Thank you guys for commentating. It's always fun to watch these back. So again, big thanks.
Yeah, congratulations. Like I said, you came in a little bit later than the beginning of the season, but it's been a blast commentating over you and all the battles that you've given us. So, thank you very much for joining us, and I hope we see you in the next season.
Thank you.
Thanks. And now we move on to our championship winner. Second place in the feature race, I think fourth in the sprint, but did enough to get the win for the whole championship over 12 rounds, and that is amazing. Shred, how you doing tonight?
Feeling good actually. I thought I'd be a little more exhausted and a little more beat up than I thought I was, but doing good.
Well, you almost were. I have a complaint actually, but before we congratulate you fully, my complaint is I'm sick of watching you fall so far down the order in these races, and then now it's a climb, now it's a fight, now it's stress, right? Like, I do have blood pressure issues, I'm medicated, but you don't have to exacerbate them. It's not necessary, but it
If
feels
you're
like
medicated, then it should be fine.
it should be fine. Okay.
That's letting you know that the medication's working.
It's not. Could you just dominate? Like, it's never enough
Look,
for
just
you. You gotta
take it up with HR if you have a complaint, okay?
You
That's
know
all
what?
I
I
can
will.
say.
I will. We're gonna talk to Stig about this. No, Shred. I mean, you are insane. To Super S2K's point, I mean, you never give up. You always fight, which is why I had a couple of moments in the race where I was like, I mean, all he has to do is chill, but like, will he? Because you're a fighter, Shred. The sprint finish was incredible. I know you didn't, quite get a win or anything, but to fall to last place, and I think you finished in fourth place. Did I remember that correctly?
Yeah, no, I didn't expect to spin. I just had a bad moment coming out of turn one, and I unfortunately collected rider in it because I had 3 snaps. I saved 2. The third one just kind of came at me from nowhere, and then I
Yep.
unfortunately just collected rider. But I was surprised at with how fast I was able to get through some of those guys. Having to make adjustments. I was getting a lot of people into turn one, which is surprising because the Aston is not really good for braking performance, I didn't think. But yeah, did what I had to do. And then same thing in Super Formula. I didn't really push in Super Formula race at all. I just sort of drove around, did laps, because I think I kind of knew S2K was like cooking into Super Formulas, and I didn't really have any motivation to push for it if there was no risk or if there's no reward. So just did what I had to do.
Good. I'm glad you did. But it's a testament to your driving ability that you've had so many of those moments that I talked about where you had a spin or a moment early in the race and you've had to fight and claw your way back up, sometimes not even quite to a podium, but other times up to a win even. And it's all paid off. You've got the championship. You are the first S7R GR Cup champion, or whatever we're going to end up calling these championships if they don't all end up being Gazoo Racing, you're cemented. Congratulations, Shred. And VR also cemented as a team here.
That's very true. Speaking of which,
Well, very quickly, I just want to ask before we go on to our final interview.
Let Hover speak.
Well, how many, the most important question I have, as a commentator, as a spectator, as someone around the S7R team, is how many champagne bottles are we going to pop open tonight?
I don't drink there.
I've already popped a few.
I'm underage. I can't drink.
I already told the bar to put it all on your tab. So thank you very much for winning the championship. And no, but seriously, overall, it's been a blast seeing the last 12 rounds and all the performances that you've graced us. And any one of these types of seasons where it just goes on for so long and so long, obviously there's the mental game, trying to keep yourself motivated. Were you always in the hunt for the championship, or were there times during the season that you thought to yourself, well, we could do some good results, but maybe the championship is a little bit out of reach?
I won't lie. The motivation problems were real for a little while. I mean, obviously, life and work gets in the way, and teammates, like, they have life and work as well, so their availability varies. But I just want to speak to the motivation of the NVR guys and just how consistent they were with staying active and practicing. I am so insanely proud of these guys. They have done a lot this season over the past 5 months. I'm so proud of them.
I think personally the whole life excuse is kind of overrated. I think you guys become unemployed. That's real dedication.
Way to ruin the candid moment.
That's
Wow,
what I'm
all
here
right.
for.
That was a beautiful moment. Thank you, Hot
was a
Air.
beautiful moment.
And we're proud of your
Yeah.
team as well. Like, obviously, you guys put in the work. Clearly, you guys are consistently finishing towards the top of the order. I mean, Jeffrey, oh shit, have I revealed a thing? I haven't revealed a thing.
Yeah,
yet.
you just did.
I didn't. I didn't
You just
reveal
said
a
his
thing.
name.
That's not revealing anything, but now you
Uh-huh.
revealed it. But I
Now you're
revealed
hearing
it first
things.
by you revealing it. Anyway, let's just bring him in. Jeffrey is here. Jeffrey is also part of the NVR team. What I was going to say was that even after missing a few races, Jeffrey jumps in, takes 4th place in this one, was a contender in the sprint as well. NVR, like, y'all did that. I kind of like you. I'm S7Rs. I'm not leaving, but I kind of like
Well,
you.
yeah. Now, I promised Bud that I would say this, but we are recruiting at this time. we are always looking for new members. I
Cut
promised
that out
Bud
of
I'd
the
say
final
that.
stream. Okay? Cut that out of the on demand. We are not allowed to recruit on S7R channels or S7R broadcasts for other teams.
It's just a bit. I'm
I
sorry.
would also like to mention that Race Asylum is also recruiting.
Oh my gosh,
new
everyone's
drivers.
recruiting.
Yeah.
You know what? S7R has just picked up a few cool
It's not
new
without
members
its
too.
merits. Hey, you gotta respect the grind.
Gotta respect the grind.
Absolutely.
Anyway, guys, we gotta close this thing out eventually. Folks gotta go to work in the morning, etc. I want to thank every last one of you. Shred, S2K, obviously, y'all got to come back. Jeffrey, Hot Air, you two, everyone's got to come back. But I want to see more of these battles, these multi-podium appearances from you guys. Love to see it. I want to definitely say thank you to my fellow host, Hover. You've been here from the very first one as well. Thank you for jumping in, and I hope you really enjoyed your kind of first tastes of doing a full season of commentary.
Absolutely. Going into this, I wasn't really admittedly expecting to do commentary, but I took a look at it, took a look at my schedule. I kind of had to write off actually competing as a driver just because of how much practice it would have taken me to, genuinely be a competitor amongst everyone. But commentating obviously takes a little bit less time. Still a little bit of prep work to be done, but overall it's been a great season as the first season for me commentating. And thank you very much to not only Stig but the whole S7R team for giving me the chance to commentate. I came in as a complete rookie, as a complete newbie, but they were willing to have me on to commentate all of these wonderful races and battles. And I'd say overall it's been a great experience on my end. And yeah, thank you to every single participant in this series, every single driver from the Pro Championship to the Pro-Am Championship to the Amateur Championship. It's been a wonderful, wonderful past few months of me being able to be here in the booth, especially to you, Toddy. Thank you for having me alongside you. I've learned quite a lot. And, obviously, thank you to McNaughty, our wonderful producer in the background, possibly the owner of NRL, but we're not quite sure
I
about
heard.
that.
I heard.
Up for debate.
Unconfirmed, a bit unconfirmed. But no, seriously, thank you to everyone that's even had a little bit of a sprinkling of involvement to this season. And I hope Stig liked my performance, and I hope he invites me again for the next season.
Yeah,
I think he
I think you
will.
guys did a good job.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
me
you.
too.
I think you will. I'll definitely ask him to because you made it so much easier. I thought I'd be commentating this whole thing alone, and you jumped in and you've been fantastic. So you are a natural at this. And yes, also thank you to McNaughty. I won't ask you to get on the mic if you don't want to. I should have asked you beforehand, but McNaughty's been in the background. He can't even speak. He doesn't even have it set up. He is truly silent in this. He did it on purpose, guys. Didn't even give himself a button. He's like, I'm not doing that.
Brings a whole new meaning to a silent partner.
He's been here every single broadcast, producing and getting most of it done for us, just like he does in NRL. I heard. But he's been fantastic, and we hear he's going to go on a little bit of a break from all of this, but we will miss him. And if you haven't subscribed to his channel on YouTube, it is McNaughty. Subscribe, even though he's not going to be doing anything on there. There's so much other content to go look at. You'll be plenty of entertained before he comes back. And yeah, I think that's it. You'll catch me on whatever the next championship is that I am streaming on. I will always announce what I'm doing on eDirtyTati on Instagram. I'll see you guys.
Of course, very quickly.
Oh, yes. Sponsor. Thank you. You go ahead, Hover.
Yeah. One more time. Thank you very much to Trails and Custom Construction LLC. You've been sponsoring our season from the very beginning. You sponsored some of our work beforehand as well. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts, not just me, but the entire S7R team that is able to make this league possible. Thank you for sponsoring our season, and we hope to see you again gracefully for the next season. So yeah, Toddy, I think it's just one last go, right?
One last go. Yeah. RA Shred with NVR's Team Geneva. You are the pro champion, our first pro champion for the Toyota GR Cup. And check out the S7R channels for more information on what's next. We'll know in just a few short weeks, actually.
Absolutely. So yeah, everyone who's caught the streams, even if it's just this one stream that you caught, or even if you came in for every single stream for every single round, thank you very much for taking the time to watch us. It's not this crazy championship, I'll admit, but we put in a ton of work in the background to make this possible. And thank you from the bottom of our hearts for watching this season. And thank you, like I said before, everyone involved who was able to make this season a success. Thank you very much. And we hope to have your viewership again for the next season.
See you guys.
All right. See y'all.
All right. See y'all guys next season.